Hey guys, it's Kemi Marie, and today we're going to be talking about who is Kemi Marie. I've been waiting to do this video for a while, and I feel like it's the perfect video to get me back into shooting videos, just because I wasn't very motivated to do it, since I was like, don't really want to talk about these topics anymore. So I feel like this is the perfect segue into something new. It is a new chapter, we will call it. And I think it's a good one because some of y'all have been following me since 2019, and some of y'all followed me yesterday. So I think it's cool because everybody from every different year has seen a different part of me, and shout out to the OGs because you've seen the full everything. But there's so much that, so much growth that's coming, and we're in such a different spot now. That I wanted to talk about who am I? How did I get here? How did this happen? Because I really don't know. It'll be nice to review the past 3 years. I laugh when I'm nervous. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it'll be nice. It's funny because some people, they see my profile and they're like, who are they? And how did they get here? They came out of nowhere. I've had people say you came out of nowhere, you must be a government plant. I've had people say, they're only this, X age, they have a ghostwriter. I have heard people say some wild shit about how I arrived here. But honestly, my growth has been very authentic, which I'm excited to explain to you guys. I've also had other spiritual business owners or just business owners come up to me and be like, how did you do it? Or other influencers. I want to speak to that as well, because when I got started with this, it was very different. So we're gonna get started. So Kemi Marie, bet I wasn't always Kemi Marie. I started with a different name. Essentially in 2019, I think I was getting back on Twitter, and I was just in a random group chat, and I met this person the person was in the group chat. I really don't know their at now. If I knew it, I would at them, but I don't. And so it was this group chat, and I think it was either a baby astro group chat or something. It was a mom group chat, something. But in this group chat, this girl had started talking about birth charts and astrology, and I already at that point I wanted to be more holistic and more spiritual. I have a really strong spiritual background, Christianity, and that's another story time, how I got from Christianity to African traditional religion. That's another story time. But I just wanted to be in a more holistic space. I just loved the energy that I was getting. And so this person was already in the holistic space, and they started talking about the birth chart, and I think I put up my birth chart and I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. And I get fixated on things, okay? So after I discovered my birth chart, I just dived in completely. Fixated, all the books, all this, I still have them. I just really just dived in. I knew so much. And I say knew because since I've stepped away from the practice, you don't practice it, it just kind of goes away. Not fully, but practice, is a great thing. But I knew so much. I was so dedicated to my studies. I wanted to go to a lot of these astro schools and astro academies, and I couldn't afford it at the time, which really fucking sucked. But I think it was just a part of my destiny. If I could have afforded it at that time, I would have went, and then I would have literally been an astrologer for my whole life. So that probably wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. But yeah, I really dedicated a lot to it in 2019. I'm the type of person where if I'm learning something, I'm going to be teaching. And not on some I'm the teacher shit. No, on some oh my god, guess what I just found out. And that's what I was doing in 2019. Let me give you guys a little screenshot of what's going on social media in 2019 in regards to the wellness spiritual community. I guess this is my perspective. I was a really small account, didn't have anything. I looked up to 2 people, an astrologer and a tarot reader, who had 30K, and at that time, spirituality was not popping like it is today. 30K was big as fuck to me. I didn't see anybody else with that amount, and with so much, I don't know, it was weird. But that was the baseline. Nobody was really, from my knowledge, nobody was really trying to advance in terms of business. We didn't, I'm pretty sure as a collective at that time, like in the community, it wasn't really like that. Like, I guess maybe we weren't pushing it as much or something, but it wasn't taken as seriously. Even though in our community we took it seriously, it just wasn't like a ton of readers and stuff like that trying to build businesses off of it or trying to build clout or followers or anything like that. It wasn't in any of our minds, including mine. And to be honest, I think that's the reason why so many creators have platforms now, is because when we started this, like, we weren't intending to do it, you know? Like, it wasn't like I'm gonna start a business. So for me, that wasn't my intention, but I was just speaking what I was learning, especially in regards to spirituality and astrology. At this time, I'm like fully diving into New Age astrology. I'm like 19, 20. And this is like maybe early 2019 that I'm doing all of this. And I'm just speaking and I'm just talking. And I remember just being so real, so vulnerable, so honest. And at first it was readings. I started doing astro readings, stuff like that. Which was pretty cool. It was fun. But then I, like I said, fixated on it and then I got burnt out from it. I do that same thing with, I'm a Scorpio Venus, so just fixating on the things that I love. And I do that with food too. I'll eat boba, like drink boba like literally every day. I haven't done it like yet, like lately, because I burnt out. I was just speaking about something that I really loved. I was doing my readings and then I got really burnt out from readings. So then I was like, shit, like what am I gonna do? I guess I'm gonna chill. And so at this point, I'm like fully into New Age spirituality. I decided that I wanted astrology to just be my personal thing, because I felt like I had kind of mastered it in a way, and I did not master it, but in my mind it was like, I've done enough of what I need to do here, and this is now my personal practice. So like now, if like I can still read, like I still do it for myself, I could do it for other people. I don't really want to invest in that. If people start talking about astrology to me, I literally play dumb, like dumb, like I don't know what you're talking about, or I'll just listen, because I just I don't have the capacity right now. At that point of being burnt out, I really was just fully into my New Age spirituality movement, which was wild. I will definitely have to do a video on my experience in New Age spirituality, because it was just all over the place. But that is where I was at that time, and I was so immersed in it. I started learning so much. I started learning, just absorbing so much information. And so that's when I started absorbing that information. And I was like, this is what I'm learning. This is what I'm learning. This is what I'm learning. This is the book that I'm reading. This is the book that I'm reading. And it seemed, I don't know, it just, people were interested with me. It was like we were growing alongside each other, which I think is so cool, because that's pretty much been my platform, is I learn as, you know, you guys learn as I learn. And it's like we're literally walking side by side with all of these different, you know, paths that we take. That's why I say people that follow me or people that enter my sphere are in alignment with me in some way. Like we just have something that we both need to learn at the same time. So that's what I was doing when I was like 19, 20, just really into the New Age spirituality stuff. And I was really focused on, like, I was less focused on like crystals and tools and stuff like that. I was into that for like a little bit, but then I was more so into the psychological part of spirituality, and the grounding and the meditation and the centering self and the self-betterment part of it all, and the philosophy and the belief. And during this time, I was also preparing to graduate with my philosophy and religion degree. So it was literally like the perfect storm. I was learning so much. I was just expanding my mind and thinking about such deep things that I started sharing those deep things. And not just those deep life things. I was sharing my experiences with life and my insights on the situations that I was going through. I was heavily processing a lot of my life experiences on a public platform. And for me, like, I don't feel embarrassment off of stuff like that. I love being vulnerable. I don't really get embarrassed. I don't know, if that's my truth, like, I don't feel bad for it. And I know that somebody can relate. There's so many people in this world that I was just sharing my experiences. And that's something that people like often tell me, is like, I value your vulnerability and stuff like that. And I'm like, I thought all of us were like this. So I didn't know that I was sharing something different. But I remember was sharing at some point between like New Age spirituality and where I'm at now, I really started honing in on vulnerability and challenging a lot of the ideas that people were putting forth in the community. Just because when I entered the community, love and light was on like it was like at 100. It was like love and light, love and light, love and light, love and light. And I feel like I came onto the scene and was like, yeah, guys, this is kind of toxic. This is kind of toxic. And it's kind of repressing. It was just like positively only vibes, basically. And I feel like my role in the community came with my vulnerability, because through my vulnerability, people saw real life, and I could piece together how to move through these things spiritually so that you can reach a sense of betterment and like mental lightness, if you want to say. So, you know, I started talking about toxic positivity. I basically feel like, not that I was like alone in this, I feel like the reason, I don't know, I'm trying to like put together the reasons why I got here. I feel like I came into a space and I started being very vulnerable and very, very real and challenging a lot of the norms and a lot of the ideas. And people like could see that. It was just purely authentic. Like I said, I wasn't intending to do anything, but I think it was a breath of fresh air that people needed to hear in spiritual spaces, because it can be so toxic and like, I only want to be around privileged, positive people. And like, I was like, that's not what this is. Like, we're supposed to be connecting with our spirit, and that means looking at the shadows and looking at the deeper parts. And so I started talking about that. I started talking about codependency. I started talking about healthy attachment. I started talking about real life shit, essentially bridging some type of psychology with philosophy. And I'm not a therapist, or I don't know. But I am a Sagittarius in the ninth sun in the 9th house at 29 degrees. So, philosophy is my thing. And I just was talking about the deeper meanings of life from my perspective, and people agree, people don't agree, but it sparked so much conversation, I suppose. And that was 2019-ish, 2020. And actually, this is really funny. It might have been, I think it was just in the entirety of 2019. Whoa, was that 2019? Okay, so we're gonna like shift this what's it called? This timeline a little bit. I think I started in 2018. 2019 is when I had like this huge breakup with my son's father and all this stuff. But prior to that breakup, the one thing that really skyrocketed my place in the community was this book. This is the book. This is the book. It is the complete book of birthdays. I was, I think, the first person to like post it, and it's just like for your birthday. It has you know, something about you astrologically. And I remember like people would be like, oh, you're the book girl, like you're the book girl, because I literally posted this and it got like, I think it was like 20,000 comments asking for their page. And I remember going from like no followers at all to like 30,000 in like a day. Like it was quick, and I was not expecting it at all, actually. And I'm still to this day like, holy shit, like how did that happen? But it was just like, in my mind, it was the first boom of people interested in spirituality that I had seen on like a large scale. It was like, for me, it was like the first moment where people were like, oh my God, that's so accurate. I want to learn more about that. And that was in probably summer of 2019, right? And so something like that, right? I'm getting my timeline and I'm just like, I'm trying to remember this, what time it was. But this was basically what's happening in order. This book, people are starting to get really interested in spirituality. Still wasn't that concerned. I still didn't really see it as a business, but I was like, oh, this is like something cool. My readings at the time, like that, this is something cool I can make money off of, or I don't know. I was just chilling. Like, it really wasn't anything. Like, and it's funny because still to this day, like, I know I have a business, but I just really don't see it like that, which is what I mean. I just think that people like back then, like, we really weren't concerned with it. And so now it's like, you know, but now that's being more like commodified spirituality. everyone's like, I want to create a spiritual business. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I just thought this is something that we all kind of just like stepped into. Like, it wasn't like I'm starting this, like, it was weird. I don't know, whatever. No shade, no tea. Like, I do your thing, baby, do your thing. But it's still kind of just like, everything happened so quickly that I'm still kind of shook that spirituality is like so commodified, or like people, it's just, wow. Okay. Anyways, that's the story for a different day. So anyways, yes, it was this book that really like just skyrocketed me. I was so shook. I was like, wow. And after that, I just kept tweeting, just kept doing my thing, just kept being me, just kept being vulnerable and authentic. And people saw me go through so much. Like, at that time, I wasn't doing my best, or I wasn't where I wanted to be. Like, I was doing my best in like school, but like financially and stuff like that, like it was not together. Like, I was down bad. And so I'm very thankful for my social media, because after my huge breakup, which was just so a lot, that's the story for another day. We got a lot of stories. But after that, like, I needed help. Like, I needed help to get an apartment in like 3 days, and like Twitter came through for me for that. And my life, that was like 2019, like November, October or something. After that, like, my life completely changed. I was going through heartbreak. I was just healing, like, I grew so much from that experience, and I was documenting it through Twitter, and it was just so like, that was yeah, Twitter became my introspective safe space, but not on some like I'm crying to the world, like, no, on some like this is like what's going on, and this is how I'm processing it. And it was just so cool to see. Obviously it could have been emotionally turbulent, so if you were there, I love you. But yeah, it was just so real, and I'm very thankful for that. Now fast forward to if this is happening in November 2019, at that point in like the end of the year, December, whatever, we're getting ready to go home, and the pandemic starts. That's 2020. And I just remember life came at us quick as fuck. I say us because I'm sure y'all was there. Life came at us quick as fuck. And so I'm at ASU. I'm in school basically. I don't have that much longer in school. I just turned 20 in 2020, in 2019. I had just turned 20 in December. Then 2020 came, and we were at home. And I needed a job. So I started working at a food restaurant, and then I was traveling from Arizona to Seattle, because my mom's in Seattle, my school's in Arizona. Anyway, I was traveling and working, and I was just trying to make money so that I could like live. I did not know what was gonna happen. So I was working, and I had just figured out that I was LGBTQ, and like all of this stuff was just going on. Yeah, the beginning of the pandemic and everything was just a lot like for everybody. But during that time I was still tweeting, and I think it was early months, like March, maybe April. I was working at that job, and I was making great paychecks, but I noticed that with the pandemic, like, my profile, my social media was blowing up. Like, I think in January December, I was under 100K. So at the time when the pandemic had started, like, I had I'm pretty sure much under 100K. But then when, I don't know, March, April came around, and I was just doing my thing, tweeting vulnerability, talking about spirituality, talking about connecting with the self. My profile literally skyrocketed so hard throughout the pandemic, and I think it did for all spiritual practitioners. Like, a lot of us came out of literally nowhere, and I believe still that it was because people were inside on their phones, and everybody had this oh shit moment, what the fuck is my life? And so when you have that what the fuck is my life, typically those sudden changes lead people to spirituality. And so I feel like I was there for that, essentially, and my account just like soared. Like, my account soared, which means that my readings had soared. I was doing like online readings and stuff like that. Like, everything just soared financially as well. And so one day I was like, I still was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my finances, but I basically took a jump. I quit my job that day and I was like, okay, bet, we're done here. And then literally like that whole week after I quit my job, I made as like more than I'd ever made before. And I was like, wow, this is, first of all, like my ancestors are telling me that I'm protected and that they've got me. And two, like, that's my path. Like, I'm supposed to be guiding people. I'm supposed to be connecting with people. And at the time that 100K was like, oh my God, I did that. Like, not on, like, I still to this day am like, oh, whatever. Like, it's followers, right? But in our community, in my mind, and like I was like, what does this mean? Like, and it means you're an influencer, which is super funny because I just like, I don't know, I have some interesting feelings about that word, but like content creator, like it exploded into something more. And it was like, I am at this place where I've been doing what I love, just talking and being myself, and like people are relating, and it's like I can relate and connect with people. And so that's when I started like teaching my classes.
One thing I forgot to mention is, yes, I was teaching classes, but I had also graduated from college in 2020. And after that, I really started opening up to more speaking engagements and conferences and interviews and whatnot. And then that really, expanded my reach. I started working with brands and partnering and getting sponsored. And from that point on, I was able to create my second business, which is a holistic school. And I think that's where I'm at now. Everything has continued to rise from that.
Just getting to be in community with people and connect with people during the pandemic last year, this year, basically it's been a year, 2020 to 2021. And over this past year, everything's just risen, and I'm very blessed, and I'm very thankful. I saw so much value in my written word, and I think that it's really interesting just over this period of time. Like I went from like 50K to 385,000 people. Like I was at 50K. I just didn't expect any of it. So I'm still like, what? Like people are like, business tips, and I'm like, be yourself. Like, I don't know. I'm so thankful and I'm so blessed for it. It's so cool seeing just how quickly like people can rise. And I know I'm not the only one. Over the pandemic, there were so many creators that this happened to just by being themselves. And I just think that's really cool. Because after for me as a kid, I was a writer. I would write and I would create, and I told myself like, I'm gonna be an artist, like I'm gonna be a creator. And I just remember everybody being like, no, you can't do that. So I abandoned that, and I was like, I'm gonna be a lawyer. And from like third grade on, I was like, I'm gonna be a lawyer. And then obviously all of that changed for spirituality. I became a philosophy and religion major, even though I went in to college for poli-sci. Like, my life has been so divinely guided, and I see in this moment that I am being taken back to what my inner child had originally set the intention to. By the way, children and babies can manifest much quicker than adults can. So I just know, like, I know I was meant to do this. I know I was meant to use my words and my insights to guide people. That is what I wanted to originally. And so to be like basically full circle back here, spreading insights that I was thinking of from 6 to 8. Also, that's another story time. I've been doing shadow work since I was 6. Like, that's how I got here. Rapid growth, being myself, being able to just communicate what a lot of people feel. And I think in the pandemic and stuff like that, like that's what we needed. Even now, that's what we need, is for people to be more vulnerable and honest and real with their experiences. And as a writer, I feel like I am God's expression in one way or another. Like I am yeah. That's I am the writer. I'm claircognizant. All of the insights that I gain are insights from my ancestors, my higher power, from Ifa, from Olodumare. Like, yeah, that's my truth. That is me. It all started from just speaking in this book and people believing in me and having faith in me and walking alongside me. And so however long you've been here, I'm so thankful for you. I'm so thankful that we are aligned in some way and that our journeys are walking next to each other, at least right now. My intentions are to help as many people heal as I can. I wanted to go into poli-sci because I wanted to change the world, and I still feel that way. I'm an Aquarius Mars in the 11th motherfucking house. My ass wants to change the world. And I originally thought I can do that through law. Turns out you can't. I thought I wanted to be the president. No, I don't. But I found a more sustainable way. I found something that I can genuinely do, and that's speak and help people grow, because personally I believe that if you are healing yourself, you will eventually heal the people around you. And I don't mean you're healing them, like, no, your energy, your self-healing is going to show somebody else somewhere they can be. You're going to show somebody that they can be healed, or they're going to, you're going to talk about your own boundaries, and then they're going to be like, boundaries? And that's how it gets started. That's how I got started. That's how somebody else gets started. A lot of our spiritual growth comes from hearing something from somebody else or having a big major life event. And it just leads us down this beautiful path of healing and growth. And so I'm here in this community still doing the work. My goal is to be able to teach for free, to be able to do workshops and lead seminars and lead TED Talks and be advocates, to be an advocate, having important discussions and panels, and kind of shifting the world from such a materialistic view to a more esoteric, like, inner world view. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to provoke conversations, and I want to challenge people's mindsets and ultimately help the world heal and grow in one way or another. I know I can't fix it, but I'm blessed to even be in this position. Like, you have a platform, like, you can change so much. So yeah, I'm emotional, but I'm not gonna cry. I'm excited to release more products in terms of, like, self-help books and insights and more decks and stuff like that. And I know that we're going places, good places together. But today I just wanted to talk about how the hell I got to this position, being where I'm at, all that stuff. It was a culmination of the past 3 years just being open and vulnerable and insightful and reflecting. Lots of introspection, but publicly, something that people usually do behind the doors. I've just kind of opened the doors, and a lot of people have opened their doors as well and been vulnerable back, which I'm just so thankful for, because I could have been shamed for it, and it received so much acceptance. And so I feel like in accepting me, you've accepted yourself, and now we get to connect. So thank you so much. I never know how to end these videos, but I just want to say thank you. And I hope to see you soon when we talk about more things, because we got a lot to talk about. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.